Hey everybody, Brandon here at GVG with a quick but pretty interesting news update about Nintendo Switch 2 game pricing. We have an article here right on Nintendo's website saying, beginning in May 2026 and starting with pre-orders for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, new Nintendo published digital titles exclusive to Switch 2 will have an MSRP that is different from physical versions. Nintendo games offer the same experiences whether in packaged or digital format, and this change simply reflects the different costs associated with producing and distributing each format and offers players more choice in how they can buy and play Nintendo games. As always, retail partners set their own prices for physical and digital games, and pricing for each title may vary. Now, this is a pretty interesting thing because in Europe, this has actually been the case since the Switch 2 launched. I talked to John before recording this video, and he said that most digital versions of games are actually about £8 cheaper than the physical formats, but that has largely not been the case in the US. I remember with Switch 1, I would often find physical games at Walmart about $10 below MSRP. And of course, they say right here in the article that retail partners set their own prices, and it was true in that case. I have not seen that as much for Nintendo Switch 2. Pricing in general with Nintendo and Nintendo Switch 2 has been a big point of contention for a lot of people. A lot of folks feel that they have been priced out of Nintendo products because of these prices, such as the $450 console or, the $80 Mario Kart World, and these more expensive Nintendo Switch 2 editions. The amiibo, the accessories, everything has gotten pretty out of hand. But for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, this will be the first game, at least in the US, that uses this new pricing model. On the eShop, it'll be $59.99, so $60. But if you want to buy it physically, it'll be $69.99, $70. I do find, the $59.99 for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book quite a bit more attractive than spending $70. One question I have, though, was Yoshi always meant to be a $59.99 game, or was it meant to be a $69.99 game? And the reason I ask that is because is this price difference meant to be cheaper on the digital side, or are they using it as an excuse to make the physical game more expensive? Right now, my gut is telling me that it's the cheaper side of things, but, we've had this whole thing about variable pricing with Nintendo, and for much of Nintendo Switch 2's life so far, we have not seen games exhibit the lower end of that spectrum. So it's easy to be skeptical about this, but it's hard to say without having more examples of first-party games to compare it to. Right now, for somebody like me, I do tend to buy digital games just for convenience sake, but I know a lot of people prefer physical games. I do wonder if the physical people feel like they're getting less of a deal because of this price difference. That said, physical retail games often do go on sale. You can buy them used at game stores. You can, buy, sell, trade. That whole market is there for you as a physical owner. So hopefully, that aspect of it offsets the price. But then there's the whole game key card of it all. Obviously, it costs money to print a box, print a card, ship that off to a retailer. The retailer gets their cut. Does that mean that in the case of a game key card that there will still be that $10 increase over buying it on the eShop? I imagine so, and that feels icky. Like, I know there are some benefits to a game key card, like you can resell it, you can trade it to somebody else, but it still doesn't feel right. And I suppose the last question I have is, what about third parties? This pricing model is for Nintendo published games, but I think it would be odd if third parties didn't also follow suit. Third-party games tend to go on sale quite a bit more than first-party Nintendo games, but it would be nice if that, $10 differential was available for, third-party games like Resident Evil 9 or things like that. I think it would be good if there was uniformity in the pricing model across, the whole platform, regardless of publisher, as a top end. Like, obviously, third-party games will often get lower than first-party games do, but, I want to see there be a cap, I suppose, like a top end of what a physical game can and should cost. but we won't see this reflected until Yoshi comes out in May, and then the games that follow suit. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Does the lower price make you more interested in buying digital games? Do you feel like this should have been the case the entire time, like a lot of us do? Let us know in the comments below. But for more Nintendo Switch 2 news, reviews, and everything in between, subscribe to GVG. We have a lot more on the way, but until then, keep the games good and the vibes greater. Bye now.